Hey everyone! Today we're going to dive into an idea that feels, well, a little backwards. The idea that real strength isn't about holding on tighter, but actually having the wisdom to know when it's time to let go.
So let's just sit with this for a second. This is the big idea for everything we're talking about today. It suggests that real growth, real maturity, happens when we realize that stepping back can actually create space for something way better. This isn't about giving up. It's about making a smart, strategic release.
Okay, so there's a formal word for this, abdicate. And yeah, I know, it usually sounds pretty negative, right? Like you're failing at something. But we're going to look at it through a totally different lens. We're going to explore how choosing to let go of a struggle can be the most responsible thing you can do.
And that gets us right to the heart of it, this central paradox. It feels like stepping back is a loss, a failure. But so often, it's the only way you can actually move forward. Real wisdom is knowing when the thing you're holding on to is actually holding you in place.
I mean, it seems simple enough, doesn't it? If something isn't working out, just stop. But we all know it's never that easy. So what gives? Why do we choose to keep fighting, to keep struggling, even when we have that nagging feeling that it's a losing battle?
Well, to answer that, we've got to look at these incredibly powerful psychological forces that keep us chained to whatever we're doing. It all comes down to the emotional investment we've already poured into it. And what's wild is how these all get tangled up together. You've got your sunk costs, all that time and effort you can't get back. Then you've got public perception, because, other people know you're doing this. You keep telling yourself you're just about to have a breakthrough, and maybe worst of all, you're terrified of letting people down. It's this powerful web that makes walking away feel almost impossible.
This is such a perfect way to picture it. You're holding on for dear life, thinking you're keeping yourself from sinking. But the whole time, the very thing you're clinging to, whether it's a project, a job, a relationship, that's the anchor that's actually pulling you down.
So you have all those external reasons, but then there's the internal stuff, that little voice in your head. This is the spiral of fear, where the stories we tell ourselves about what letting go actually means, well, that becomes the real trap.
And this one's a big one. We start to believe that this one failure somehow defines our absolute potential. We think, man, I gave it everything I had, and it still wasn't enough. Maybe this is my peak. And that is a terrifying thought. It can make us cling to a sinking ship just to avoid facing it.
And right on the heels of that fear comes this one. It creates this crisis of confidence that can just sabotage everything. You start wondering, if my absolute best wasn't good enough here, how can I ever trust myself to do anything else? That kind of doubt can poison your future before it even gets started.
And let's be really clear here. These fears, these feelings, they are 100% valid. It's completely natural to feel that way. But, and this is the absolute key, they are not the full story. They're just a reaction to the problem, not a crystal ball for the future. So, let's shift our perspective.
Okay, so this is where we make the turn. This is the pivot. It's time to reframe this whole experience, not as some tragic ending, but as a really necessary part of a much longer journey.
So on one side, you have that old story. This is a failure. I failed. It's just a dead end. But on the other side, we have a brand new story. This is a path to a good experience. See how that reframes everything? It's not the destination. It's just a rocky, but totally necessary part of the road to something better.
To really get this, let's use a simple analogy. Just imagine you're playing a board game, and you just cannot get the roll you need. You're completely stuck. So here's how it plays out. You roll, and you lose. That's the bad experience. But you don't just quit the game. You keep rolling. And with every roll, you're learning something. Eventually, you start to win a few little victories. And those wins, they aren't just for this game. Nope, you pocket those as experience, like a little consolation prize that you carry with you to the next game. And that makes you a stronger, more resilient player for the long run.
So what's the actual payoff here? What do you really get when you finally let go of that rope that's tied to the anchor? Well, the benefits are real, and they are profound.
Here's the bottom line. By making that incredibly tough choice to let go, you don't just get through the struggle, you actually convert it into strength. The experience builds your resistance for whatever life throws at you next. A huge weight is lifted, freeing up all that energy, and it lets you find real meaning in what you're doing again. And this is just so important to remember. It's not going to happen overnight. There's going to be a period of sadness, of dusting yourself off. But after that dust settles, the meaning does come back. Letting go is what creates the empty space for it to grow again. So we'll leave you with this question.
Think about the ropes that you're gripping right now in your own life. What anchor, tied to all your past efforts and your fears, might you be ready to finally let go of so that you can move forward?